What's up, y'all? I don't know how I'm going to deliver this. This might be in some weird discombobulated fashion, but it needs to be addressed at this time, so I'm going to address it. Let's talk about why you are okay manifesting a specific motherfucker when you're not talking to them. But then when you start talking to them, you get all discombobulated. Why does this happen? The short answer is you don't feel natural with this motherfucker. That's it. End of video. Bye. Okay, just kidding. So you don't feel natural, which is why when you are not in contact with them and you are not getting any feedback in the 3D, you're okay. The naturalness of you being in a relationship with someone is that you are communicating with them daily. It doesn't matter what type of relationship you are manifesting, okay, whether it's marriage or just a commitment in general. If you are with someone, you're communicating with them every day, right? All right. So if you're not communicating with them and you feel natural doing that, it's because you're not calibrated to the frequency of the version of you who is in the relationship. You're holding some importance on this specific motherfucker. And this specific motherfucker is you. They are you pushed out. They are behaving according to the parameters that you have set for them, be it consciously or subconsciously, how you view yourself in relationships, what stories you have about relationships, how you view them specifically. A whole bunch of stories are going on. And you are saying that you're affirming that they're obsessed with you, they're in love with you. You might even be affirming that you have perfect relationships. You might have worked on your relationship belief systems, or you might be in the process of that. But if you are feeling more calm and neutral, doing your affirmations and your visualizations and your techniques when this motherfucker is not in the picture, you are not in the wish fulfilled. You're not. Because if you were in the state of the wish fulfilled, you interacting with them would not be a challenge for you. Now, how you overcome this is you must decrease the importance of them in your experience. And you're probably like kicking and screaming, no, but I want this motherfucker. But if I was supposed to decrease the importance, then I wouldn't be manifesting them. Okay, yeah, they're important to your ego to an extent. But you, as God, from your higher self, universe, source, all that is, whatever the fuck you want to call it, there is no one more important than you in your universe. So if you are having an okay time with manifesting them when you're in no contact with them, but the second they hit you up, instead of looking at it as a success, you're like, oh, but I was manifesting to be married and they just hit me up saying WID. You're not understanding that that's part of the unfolding. Everything is part of the unfolding. Once you make a declaration, this is what I want, shit starts unfolding, but then you waver. So now you start looking at the 3D of dealing with this individual, and you can get upset. Not you as your God self, but the ego is getting upset. The ego might try to talk funny to you. The ego is going to say some shit. Oh, but you were manifesting marriage and they just hit you up for a booty call, or they just want an FWB, or whatever the case is, right? Okay. That's your ego. If you are going to let any story that the ego gives you as gospel, if you're going to take it as the word instead of following the word of you, of all that is, of what you want, then now you have successfully removed your focus from the end state of the wish fulfilled, as you were being so diligent with when you were in no contact with them. Now you've removed that focus, all of that work and hard effort you've done, and you've placed it over here. You've given your power to what the ego is saying by looking at the 3D. This motherfucker is not important. They are not more important than you in your universe. And because you have placed this manifestation with this specific motherfucker as such an important thing, or at least your ego has, now your ego is going to try to dissuade you from all of the hard work that you've done by saying, look, this shit ain't work. Yeah, you wanted marriage, but you got a friend with benefit now, okay? You got to toss that out the fucking window. Here is a time where you look at the 3D and you say, okay, any movement is movement. It doesn't matter what it is. That is a success. That's number one, okay? Number two, if you are dealing with someone and you are triggered by something that they're saying or something they're doing, you are not at the version of you which is in this healthy and happy, fulfilled relationship. You are still in the identity of the motherfucker who does not have them, who views the specific motherfucker as a prize, who is placing this motherfucker inadvertently on a pedestal. It's nothing to beat yourself up over, but I will tell you this. If you keep looking at the 3D, even when you are in contact with this individual and you are not living in your mind, you're wavering. You're wavering. That's it, plain and simple. So how do you deal with a specific motherfucker that is not fully conformed, but they have shown up and you are seeing some results? You smile and nod at the 3D, okay? That's the best way I can describe it. You know, I talk in fucking metaphors. So you're manifesting SP. You have a nice visual, they propose to you, and you're in this fancy restaurant and they have your perfect engagement ring or whatever the case. Okay, let's just go with that. You ain't speak to this motherfucker for like 3 months. All of a sudden, you know, you're really good, right? Because there's no feedback from them in the 3D. So you're like, yeah, I got this, I'm feeling good. They hit you up. Hey, what's up? Oh man, fuck this shit didn't work. Manifestation is bullshit. You all in your fucking butthurt ego emotions now, right? You're not seeing it from the God state. Okay, you are married to this individual, so you weren't talking to them for 3 months. How do you expect to be married to them if you ain't talked to them in 3 months? Yes, in some instances, they can show up with a full-blown engagement ring, a fucking bouquet of 20 million roses, whatever the fuck it is, okay? That can happen. I'm not saying it can't. But a lot of times, the little movement that you do get, you place on the back burner. You're like, oh, that's not what I want. What you did right there, instead of looking at it as positive movement, you said, oh, this shit ain't working. You talk to them, you start talking to them, you start interacting with them. Oh, but when are they going to conform? When are they going to conform? Oh, I manifested the back and they came back, but they're not fully conformed. You see, it's all of this that you are placing upon yourself. And this motherfucker, this specific motherfucker, they're innocent. I'm gonna say it again, they're innocent. They can only be guilty of what you condemn them from your own fucking perception. They did nothing. If anything, they obeyed your command. You ain't talked to this motherfucker. This motherfucker blocked you 6 ways to Sunday. And you're saying, yeah, I'm with them. I'm married to them. They're obsessed with me. They can't live without me. They hit you up. How is that not them obeying your command? You have to look at the little things, even if it's not exactly what you want. You have to look at that as movement. So that's number one. Number two, let's say you are interacting with SP after manifesting them and there was no contact or whatever the case. You're dealing with them. Oh, but I want them to call me 3 times a day and they only call me once. Think about it. Okay, are you okay? Let's take a look at this. Oh, but they said this, but they said that. They're calling you once a day from nothing. And you're looking at that as an L? And that's just one example, okay? So you have to look at all of these things as positive, as serving you. And this is where you have to have this focused discipline on your mental diet more than ever. If you were to, quote, fail now, which you can't fail because the manifestation is already done, but if you perceive it as a failure, the only way you can fail is if you keep looking at the 3D, which you weren't looking at before. So what? Now they're in the equation. Now the 3D has the person that you were manifesting. They're there. They're fucking there. Okay? They are dealing with you in the 3D when maybe before they weren't, but you're still looking at it from the scope of this is not exactly what I want. It's still movement. So you smile and nod at the 3D. Okay, they tell you, listen, I missed you, I've been thinking about you, but I just want a friend with benefits. Listen, you have your own choice to do whatever you want to do in the 3D. If you're not comfortable doing something in the 3D, then don't do it. But if you're like, okay, you know what, I see this as movement and you want to do something like that, that's up to you too. So gauge what they are saying to you in the 3D. Yes, the 3D matters to an extent because you have boundaries. And if you are not comfortable doing something, then don't do it, obviously. And that's only something that you would know and you'd be able to process. But if you are still remaining firm, whether you set a boundary with them in the 3D or not, if you're just like, you know what, that's it, they're mine. I'm going to stay on my mental diet. This is what I want. This is what I know I have because I've already seen it in my mind's eye. This is the part where it's like, motherfuckers say, oh, the universe will test you. The universe ain't testing you. It's you. It's your ego perception of the thing. Your God self, your higher self has never been in alignment with being in that perfect relationship with this individual that is your ideal. It's there. It's still there. So motherfucker comes back and now you're looking at the 3D because you're getting feedback in the 3D from this individual. And I get it. It can seem like perhaps they have free will because you were saying you wanted marriage and now they're coming back. They want a friend with benefit type of situation. It can be deceiving. Okay. But what you're not understanding is that the friend with benefit situation showed up as a way to present itself like, oh, here is this person. Here they are. You wanted them. Maybe it's not fully what you want, but this is what you've been doing, especially if you have a built-up backstory about either this individual or about relationships in general. Sometimes if that new belief that you've been getting down is not entirely solid, you can get bits and pieces of the old story as well. So be extra mindful when this individual does start talking to you again, when you do start having contact with them, what parts of the old story are still there. Okay, these are the parts that I need to work on. So they want a friend with benefit situation. So maybe you had a story that they were not a commitment type of individual. Maybe you had a story that, relationships don't work out, whatever it is for you specifically. What is this individual saying now? Because specific motherfuckers, they can show you exactly where you are at, and they do show you exactly where you're at. So what is the story you need to work on? What are they telling you in the 3D that they want? Oh shit, they want a friend with benefit. Okay, that's what I need to work on. So utilize this as a tool, okay? Utilize it as a tool to your benefit. I know I've worked on this story. I know I've worked on viewing this individual in a more positive fashion, but they're still saying friends with benefits. So there's something within me, because remember the motherfucker is you, that is carrying that. So now you take this as, okay, this specific motherfucker has shown me what I need to work on within myself, and then you address that specific thing. So however they're showing up to you, even if they're, they're giving you attention and they're communicating with you, but it's not fully what you want, isolate what it is that they are doing or they are saying that is not fully what you want, and take a look at that of how you can utilize that to fix that story within yourself, okay? Is it something just about them? If they're the type of individual that told you, oh, well, I'm not really a commitment type of individual, I like to, just casually do my thing, okay, then that's a story about that individual that's still going on. Or if you've had this situation in the past where, you kind of had dealings with individuals and it turns into like a friends with benefit, or it never gets off the ground. Okay, so now they're saying that, oh, but I've experienced this before, so that means that story is still running dominantly within me. Okay, so you isolate that, and they are continually, as you're dealing with them, going to give you feedback. And this is not to be triggering. This is for your benefit. This is to show you what you are fixing within yourself. Not that you're broken, but you're kind of like integrating a new belief and removing the old belief. Okay, so how you deal with them, you depersonalize any type of emotions. And I know that you might be feeling this motherfucker. I know you might be like, okay, yeah, I'm really into them and I have feelings for them. So how am I supposed to depersonalize this whole situation? Look at it as a science experiment. Everyone is you pushed out. Who are you in relation to this individual? Are you the individual who always gets a friends with benefit and never gets a full-blown relationship? Are you a type of individual where the SP comes back, but there's something stopping the relationship? Okay, it could even be something as like, oh, but SP's family doesn't really like me, so that's still an issue. Okay, then that, whatever they are telling you when they come back, that is the story that you fix. And as you continue to deal with them, you say, okay, yeah, SP, show me more of who I am, because you are the specific person. You are them. They are mirroring back to you your beliefs that you have going on within you. They are innocent. They are. They really are. And I do want to add, if you have been affirming that this motherfucker's in love with you, this motherfucker's obsessed with you, they can't live without you, then they come back and then it's like hot and cold. Do you still have resentment towards them? Do you still have strong emotional ties to a story that played out between you and this individual from before? There is no past, there is no future, but let's just go for the sake of, this fucking video. Are you still holding on to anything? Are you carrying fucking baggage from the past about this individual? And that's why maybe they're showing up hot and cold because you've been affirming for them, but you're still like, oh, fuck this motherfucker. Oh, but they're obsessed with me, they're in love with me. Oh, but fuck them. Remember when they said this? Remember when they did that? Do you see what I'm saying? So if you're carrying an old story with them, you can potentially get triggered, not because they're necessarily doing anything now, but because your ego is going back to the old story. So you have to look at that. What is this old story that I'm carrying on with them? Is it that they are a player? Is it that they are a liar? Is it they don't want commitment, right? What is the story about them that played out in the past that you don't want to happen again? Fix that. Center your affirmations around that. And whatever they are saying, this gonna sound fucking delulu as fuck, but in your mind, you're gonna say, thank you. Show me more. Show me more of who I am, okay? Because if you make it more of a joke, if you make it more of a game, okay, yeah, they showed up, they're showing me this. I am the Lord and there is none else. You're not going to fucking tell me what I can or can't have in my reality. I see that the ego might have had some false perceptions about relationships or about who I am in relationships or about who this specific motherfucker is. But you're showing me, you SP are showing me the things that I need to let go of. And looking at it from a more logical viewpoint, even though manifestation is not logical, looking at it from a more logical viewpoint of saying, okay, show me what else, show me what else I have going on, right? And it might be some shit that you had no idea was going on, okay? But it's still there. It was still running in the background. That's like the subconscious mind, okay? That means under, it means the undercurrent. So if you're confused, if you're like, but I don't understand what's happening because I've been manifesting them and I've been good on my mental diet and they came back, but then they said this, okay. Yeah, they said that because you still had that perception. So find out what it is in you that created that version of them. And how you deal with them in the 3D is to really look at them as a science experiment. And I'm gonna keep saying that because that's really what they are. Okay, so they showed me this. All right, well, let me work on this affirmation now. Let me, release this emotional baggage now. That's it. And the less you look at that from a place of emotions, and I'm not saying if you have emotions, of course, process them, let them flow through you, but don't personalize them. Just say this is the old story. I'm gonna release the old story. That's fine. But you don't want to say, oh, you constantly feel anxiety or you constantly feel this way. Okay, that's too personal. You don't want to personalize negative emotions. Okay, so you want to look at all of these things that I just said, which I don't remember because when I fucking start talking, shit just flows. So you want to look at all of these things. And the most important, when you are dealing with them in the 3D, but they are not fully conformed, you do not want to react. You want to smile and nod, like I said. So SP comes back. Well, I just want a friends with benefit situation. I don't want anything serious. Okay, if you're cool with that, and you're like, it don't matter what they're saying because I'm the Lord and there is none else and they're already committed to me, and you're cool with that, proceed. If you're not cool with that, don't think that if you tell them, listen, I don't want a friend with benefit situation, I want a relationship. If you are solid in your story that you are already with them, they're already committed to you, you're not even going to care if you tell them that, oh, but what if they just stop talking to me because I said that? Okay, that's your ego. Because the only thing that is scared to lose something is your ego, because your higher self knows that this motherfucker is you, so you cannot ever lose them. You cannot lose them. You can't, because they're you. How can you lose an aspect of yourself unless you specifically decide, you know what, I don't want that aspect anymore. It's up to you. So you get to decide how you want to deal with them in the 3D. And you don't want to react to something in the 3D. If it's something, maybe minor where, okay, yeah, they were texting you all day yesterday, and then the next day after that, it's like you didn't hear from them. Okay, how important is that to you, right? Did they do anything? Did they disrespect you in the 3D? You might feel disrespected, but you want to keep cool no matter what. And you don't want to be afraid to talk to this individual and ask them fucking questions in the 3D. Because if they're your partner, you would have open communication with them. You would have that healthy rapport between you and them. So don't be afraid to, what are they, oh my God, I double text them. What are they going to think? Who gives a fuck what they think? They can only think that which you think they are thinking. So you're talking to them nonstop on Thursday, then Friday, you don't hear from them. Are you immediately going to, they ghosted you, they don't want to talk to you? That's the old story, which means you're not fully conformed. Or did you go with, oh, maybe something came up with work. Maybe they had a family issue, they'll get back to me. Or you know what, I'm going to just say, hey, what's up? How's it going? Would you be afraid to hit up your fucking friend? Okay, think of your friend, your best homie, right? You're talking to them rapid fire, okay? The next day you don't hear from them at all. Are you immediately jumping to, oh my God, they don't want to be my friend anymore. What am I going to do? You're not. You're not. And if you are, then, that's something you might want to work on as well, okay? But odds are it's just isolated to this individual because you got caught up in your fucking feelings for them. Your ego placed them on a pedestal thinking that this motherfucker is so important that you cannot make a move. You have to walk on eggshells or else you're going to lose them, or else you're going to leave, or else you're going to do something else. That is all the ego talking. So when you're dealing with someone, you want to ask yourself, okay, no matter what they say, no matter what they do, no matter what you see on fucking social media, who am I being if I react to this? Okay? Are you gonna blow up their phone? You're gonna call them 17 fucking times. You ain't text me back. You ain't get back to me. That's not coming from a place of being in a content relationship. Because if you're in a content relationship, that identity version of you is gonna be like, oh, they didn't get back to me, but I know I'm gonna see them later because we live together. Do you see the difference? And it might seem a little tricky at first to really incorporate this new identity, because I get it. Okay? You have feelings for them, right? But they're still not more important than you. And if you are the version of you who is in that committed relationship, you are not going to be thinking from a place of fear. So if you're thinking from a place of fear, you either have a self-concept issue, and you can tell it's a self-concept issue if you're like this in general. If you're like this with maybe work or with family or with friends, if you're just always kind of on edge, yes. If it's a thing that's general for you, work on self-concept. If it's a thing that is just happening in relationships and it's a relationship issue, if it's a thing that is only happening with this one specific motherfucker but you've never experienced that before, it's a story you have about this specific motherfucker, and that's how you tell. So when you want to react in the same way, it's coming from your ego. I need an answer now. I want this validation now. Oh, but they're not conformed now, so I need to do something. That's all ego. You ideally do not want to do anything from the place of the ego. You want to smile and nod, write it out. Okay, so what is this telling me about a story I have, either about relationships or about this person or whatever, right? You ask yourself, then you go in and you work on that. But if you are in the place where you can look at it from an objective point of view and be like, okay, they didn't get back to me, but they will. That's it. It's fine. That's how you know you've truly changed. What your initial instinct is in every moment dealing with this individual, you know you have implemented true change, the wish fulfilled, when now you are not behaving, whether it's in the 3D or whether it's in your mind, right? Because you could be like prim and proper, demure in the 3D, right? But in your mind, you're like, fuck this motherfucker, what the fuck they doing? You're sending screenshots to your fucking homies and shit. What are they doing? Oh my God, let's do a drive-by outside their house. Okay, you see what I'm saying? So you have to constantly monitor yourself, and you're not going to need to do this for the rest of your life, because once you get this down, let's say this specific motherfucker that you're manifesting now, that's it. This is it. This is the final boss. This motherfucker that you're dealing with right now, that you're thinking about right now. That's it. You don't need to deal with this bullshit ever again. Use them as a science experiment. I don't give a fuck how that sounds, because you know what? You are God of the reality, and they are not. So they are just a reflection of you, and they're showing you what stories that your ego and your subconscious mind has running in the background. And the more that you look at them nonchalant, you're like, okay, yeah, they're showing me this. Oh, what does that say about me? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna work on this. And whatever they do in the 3D, unless it's obviously some blatant disrespect, if obviously if you're in physical danger or something like that, of course, defend yourself, do what you gotta do. But if it's just you're getting the same bullshit, you're getting that same feedback loop, you have not successfully changed your story either about yourself or about relationships or about this individual. And only you know where you're at with that. So my advice, whatever they say, whatever they do, assign it the most positive meaning that you can, even if it sounds delulu. Go with that story. Do not look at the 3D. And unless there's something major that happens that's blatantly disrespectful or you are in danger, don't react to the 3D. Okay, you can set a boundary. You can say, I don't want to do friends with benefits. I don't want to do booty call. I don't want to do casual hookup. I don't want to just be friends with you. You can say that. And if you can say that, knowing that it doesn't matter, they are conformed. So you can say that, and tomorrow they hit you up, you know what, I'm so sorry, I missed you, I friends with benefits, that's not going to work for me either, I want to be with you. You don't know what the fuck can happen, okay? But they still are a reflection of you. So if you're dealing with them in the 3D and you continue to keep dealing with them as they are, if they're not fully conformed to what you want to assign everything a good meaning, and whatever they say in the 3D, before you react, you're going to deep breath. Okay, you're going to calm yourself down. Even if you have to calm yourself down and it takes you an entire fucking day to calm yourself the fuck down, you do your affirmations. I am safe in this relationship. I am the Lord and there is none else. Everything is unfolding perfectly for me. You put the focus on you to calm yourself down. You do whatever type of nervous system regulation. You say it's safe for me to be in this relationship. It's natural for me to be in this relationship. I promise you, once you come back to a place of neutrality, the 3D and what they're doing, you're not going to be as triggered, and it's not going to seem as scary, and you're going to be able to fucking speak to them and ask them questions coming from a place of, okay, yeah, that's cool. You said you want to be friends with benefits. I don't know if I'm really down with that. I don't know if I'm really comfortable with that. You can say that, and you are not going to feel afraid that they are going to give you a negative reaction. But you have to calm yourself down. You have to ask yourself, what is this showing about me? Why would you be afraid to lose someone who is you, has reflected so perfectly, even till this point, who you are? It's coming from you. They are innocent. I'm going to keep saying that. They are not doing anything malicious towards you, even if it looks that way on the surface to your ego. They are neutral. And the more you bring yourself to a place of neutrality, even if you need a timeout from them, and that's what's best for you, that's what's resonating with you, you know what, I'm not going to respond to them right now because I need to take time for me, then that's what you do. But you come first. They do not come first. Look at what they are showing you, and whatever they are showing you, instead of being triggered, say, okay, what is this story saying about me? What is this story saying about a belief I have? You're not going to need to constantly do this just until those old beliefs are out of your system. And the less you react to something triggering in the 3D, and the more you respond differently, doing something you would never do, saying something you would never say, you're breaking the algorithm. You are dismantling that old timeline in real time, and you are incorporating that new belief system and that new identity. So ask yourself this when dealing with an SP who is not fully conformed. Okay, they said this. The version of me that's in a relationship with them, the version of me that is chosen and prioritized, how would they respond? They would do this. The version of me who is still, on this ego trip, how would they react? They would react in the same way. Okay, so do something different. Even if it's something small, even if you have a perception that they would expect you to react in a big way, be like, okay, smile and nod. That's going to break the algorithm. And the more that you respond differently, even if at first it seems you have to force yourself, the less frequent those triggers are going to come up, not because they stop doing it, but because you stop paying attention to it, and you cannot get something that you're not paying attention to, or that you're like, okay, what is this? This is a joke. Look at them as a science experiment. Say, what are they telling me about me? Do I want to keep this version running, or do I want to change it once and for all? So this motherfucker right here, this is your science experiment. Fix it with them. Fix it now. Do not be afraid to interact with your SP. That's it. Who are they? They are not God of your reality. You are. And the more that you view them as a reflection of you, knowing that you are the operant power, oh, okay, this motherfucker said that, but I'm the Lord and there is no one else. It doesn't matter what they say because this is what I want. This is who I am. You're gonna fucking get your shit.